Jimmy Murphy here with your CLNS Garden Report on Ice Special Edition Puck Rocks. Puck Rocks, you say? What is that? Well, I'll tell you what that is. As anyone who knows me knows, hockey and music are my passion, and I figured why not combine the two of them in a special edition of Garden Report on Ice that we're going to try to do as regularly as we can. We're going to have Boston Bruins players, coaches, management, what have you, talking not only about hockey, but about their passion for music, what they like for bands, what they like for musicians, what instruments they might play. That's what Puck Rocks here on the Garden Report on Ice on CLNS is all about. And in our first edition, we spoke to Tuukka Rask, the Boston Bruins goaltender. Here it is. Jimmy Murphy here with the CLNS Garden Report on Ice and a special Puck Rocks edition of the Garden Report on Ice here with Bruins goaltender Tuukka Rask. Tuukka, how you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
It's good. Good to see you. And Tuukka, let's just, before we get into the fun stuff about music and that, let's talk a bit about the current season right now. Been very up and down, lots of injuries, kind of a roller coaster pretty much so far. You know, how have you felt the teams handle it? And then after that, yourself, how have you been handling it?
We've been pretty good, you know. I mean, obviously injuries happen. We've had a good share of those. We battled through and got some points, you know, very important points. Obviously, I like to win every game, but you know, for the most part, we've been in every game, and you know, we've managed to get a lot of points. So, still early in the season, and you know, we're growing as a team, and you know, I think we're trending in the right direction with our hockey game.
For yourself, I mean, obviously the goalie, a big key is communication with the D. A lot of young kids coming in. Getting used to them, obviously, in training camp and then as the season began, but then injuries happen and the lineup keeps changing. What's that been like for yourself, just adapting to that?
It's been good, pretty easy. I mean, obviously we got some young D back there, but they've been around for a couple of years. You know, we've gone through changes in the past few seasons, and everybody's kind of been mixing and matching with each other, so it's nothing new for us. I think we've simplified our changes with the D, and I think for the most part they've been very good. We've been breaking out our own end, you know, cleanly for the most part, and that's something we want to build on and keep doing. So it's been good.
How much of that do you credit to the coaching staff as well for putting a system in place that, you know, can withstand such changes so fast?
A lot. You know, and pretty much all of our coaches have been working with the guys coming in from Providence over the years, and they know each other well, and I think that helps with that relationship. And you know, once you know come up to the NHL, obviously the game is a bit faster and players are a little smarter, so you have to make those decisions quicker and smarter. So that's something we've been working on, and it's been working pretty well.
Individually, you had a concussion in the beginning there, and you didn't get off to the best start. But I remember talking to you in the midst of all that, and you just said, I feel good. And, you know, goalies will say that sometimes when maybe the outside can't really see it. Can you just sort of give the viewer, like, what that's like when, even though maybe the record's not there, the wins aren't there, you can still feel good? Kind of give us some insight there.
Yeah, well, you know, you judge your performance by, you know, how you feel and how many you know, goals you think that you would like to have back. And, you know, there hasn't been too many of them. So, you know, obviously, the way you see the puck and the way you control the rebounds and feel the puck, I felt good with that. So a lot of these goals that get scored on, you know, it's just goals that, you know, there's nothing really would have liked to done differently. And that's I think that's the biggest you know, way you judge yourself. You know, could I have done something differently or not? And you know, if the answer is yes, then you obviously look at the video and see what it was and try to fix it. But there hasn't been too many of those, and that's why I say I felt good. Obviously, you know, the stats. People look at the stats, but you know, I've kind of given up on those for the past couple of years. The game's changing, and the goaltender stats are, you know, they might go, you know, down a little bit, and it's part of the game. So I don't care about that anymore.
You kind of read my mind there. I feel like, you know, and I've tended to do this as I've gone on covering the game. You watch more for the type of goals that are being let in as opposed to the stats, you know, the goals against or save percentage. It's more, you know, should he have saved that, or was that an amazing save? Is that sort of how you feel too? It's more about the quality?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yes. I just said, you know, look at the goals and you see if you could have done something differently or not. And go from there. You know, we had a game yesterday, and you know, there's a couple of goals that you're not going to do too much about, and then all of a sudden your numbers drop. It's 3 goals against, so that's just the reality, the nature of the game nowadays, and we live with it. And if you get the win, good. If not, then you try to get the next one.
All right, one question I got to ask you, and I'm going to come flat out and say, sometimes I think you get a bad rap here, and I don't know if you agree with me on that, or do you just look at it as like this is part of playing in a competitive sport style?
Oh, what I mean the fans?
Like criticism, yeah.
It's part of the goaltending job in general. I think it's
like being a quarterback or a pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, people. There's obviously going to be people that they just don't like you no matter what you do, and then there's going to be people that criticize you. Sometimes it's needed, sometimes it's not, but it's just part of the deal, and I really doesn't affect me. I've gotten used to it over the years.
All right, let's get to the fun stuff. And one of the things I think when I'm going through a tough time, I like to find some good music to kind of get through. I know you're a fan of music. You like Metallica, we know that. That was very well established in an NHL interview I saw. I think they asked you like 5 times.
Probably, something like that, yeah.
But I want to get to your roots of music. When you were growing up in Finland as a young lad, what music did you listen to? Just give the viewers an inside look at your music taste.
Well, I think it's been rock for the most part. I was in a music class right from the elementary school.
Really?
For about 6 years. Music played a big part in our daily routine. We had drums and pianos and guitars in the classroom, and that's kind of how I got started playing drums. But then rock was always like that was the music I liked to listen to even when I was a kid.
Are we talking like Finnish hardcore or just sort of mainstream?
Mostly like mainstream 80s, 90s rock and roll. Some Finnish, some American, whatnot, and then classical music. I was working in the Finnish Opera Festival in my hometown for a few years there in the summers, and that kind of introduced me to that part. So kind of an all around music guy. With
the drums there, do you still play?
Yeah.
Nice. You have a set at home, or?
Actually, I borrowed one from our trainer Donnie there. Because I'm looking to buy one, so he's got an old Yamaha electrical kit. It's actually pretty nice. Nice. So I've been playing that for about a couple of weeks now.
Are there any other guys on the team that jam that you have?
Yeah, Valesky, he plays guitar. He's got a drum set at home too. Who else? Not that I know of. He's a big music guy too. Yeah.
Okay, now final question here: if you had one song, or you can even say just a group, to come out to, on the ice, you lean out to the ice, and it's really going to get you into the game, what's it going to be?
Once again, Metallica.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's.
Which song though?
That's a good pre-game music. What song? Probably, I think Master of Puppets is a pretty good song for the game.
All right, Tuukka, we appreciate you taking the time. This has been Tuukka Rask, Boston Bruins goaltender. Jimmy Murphy here on the Garden Report on Ice, Puck Rocks edition. We'll talk to you next week.